in. So as a way of introduction, I am LaDonna Allen. I am the National Account Manager for TLN. So I have had the TLN account for about a year now, but prior to that, I had the NextGen account for about 8 years. So I'm not new to the TLN family, although I am new to the TLN headquarters account. And I wanted to kind of go through what we're going to be doing, what the FAM looks like. There is one step that for sure is mandatory. We absolutely do want you guys to go in and update your agent profiler. So I'm going to go in and show you those screens here real quick. Let me share my screen with you. All right. So hopefully you guys can see my screen now. Everybody see it? Uh-oh, I'm going to have to go in here and try to mute people again.
Yes, we can.
Yep. Thank you. Okay, so as you guys are coming in, if you can just mute yourselves so that we don't have all the background noise, I would appreciate it. On this first slide here, I've got the BDM locator. So absolutely, we do want you connecting with your BDMs. As I mentioned, I manage the TLN headquarters relationship. So you are always welcome to reach out to me if something comes up with TLN, with NextGen, with any of the members. But we do want you to be able to locate your BDMs as well. And as I mentioned, the piece of this that is mandatory, and I apologize, I used some slides from a previous presentation that has Japan, but what we want you to do is make sure that you go in and update your agent profiler. Hopefully you guys have already set your agent profiler up. But what I want you to do is make sure before we go on the FAM that you have gone into your agent profiler and updated this with two things. The onboard training that we're going to be doing is very specific to Alaska. So you want to have Alaska as a destination, and you also want to make sure that you have Princess on here on your agent profiler as well. So you can see here where she has the supplier partners listed. So that's the very first piece that I'm going to ask you to do before we do anything else, is to get your agent profiler up to date. If you aren't familiar with agent profiler, you absolutely need to get very familiar with this because it is that lead generation tool. And so this is super important, whether you're traveling on a FAM with Princess or somebody else. You want to keep this updated all the time so that those customers can find you. The next piece that I wanted to talk about is Princess Plus. All of your bookings have Princess Plus, but I wanted to make sure that you guys kind of understand kind of what the fare structure looks like. We want you to have Princess Plus because number one, we think it's our best value experience, but number two, we want you to be able to adequately articulate this to your customers in the future. So these three different types of fares that we have Princess Standard. Princess Standard is fare only. You guys have Princess Plus, which has the inclusions that I'm fixing to go through with you. And then there is another level, which is called Princess Premier. And this is if you want to have additional inclusions as part of your package. The main thing that I recommend people do is if they have groups, you have your group leader for sure, or if you've got, grandma and grandpa that are traveling and paying for the family, you want to make sure that they probably are taking Princess Premier, but understand what the differences between the various fare types are, so that you can articulate that to them. The biggest difference, I would say, with Premiere, from my perspective, is it includes the photo package. So if you've got a group leader, or if you have grandma and grandpa that's taking the whole family, they are absolutely going to want those photos. And so you want to make sure that you have those included up front. Now, we've recently made some changes, and what we did was we introduced some fees to Princess Standard. So we have some onboard venues that previously were free. They were complimentary. And for operational reasons, we needed to keep those we needed to kind of reduce the amount of people that are going to Alfredo's and Gigi's on board. The reason is those restaurants had 3 times the waste of any other restaurant on the ship. 3 times the waste. So, number one, we want to be socially conscious and environmentally friendly. So, we wanted to reduce the waste, and we also wanted to increase the value so that people really feel like there's a value to going to that restaurant. Operationally, we also introduced some new fees like for room service delivery, but this kind of brings us in line with the rest of the industry. It's not anything earth shattering or groundbreaking, but those fees were added to Princess Standard. Now, if you have Princess Plus, those fees are included because, again, we want to make sure that we're giving you a fully inclusive package. So, with Princess Standard, if you want to use Ocean now, there's a $14.99 access fee one time. If you have Plus or Premier, which you guys have, it will be complimentary. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. Not only do you have this cover charge included with Princess Plus, but we want you to use it. We want you to use it. We want you to take pictures of it. We want you to document it. We want you to be able to share that with your customers. That room service fee, if they have Princess Standard, so fare only, there is going to be a $5 charge for room service. If you're on Plus or Premier, it's complimentary. So again, we want you using these services so that you can articulate that value to your customers. Medallion shipping is included with Plus or Premier. And as of last week, we now have medallion shipping starting to Canada as well. So big news there. It's included with Plus or Premier. If you want it, if you're on Princess Standard, you can pay for it. But for you guys, if you go in there and you get Ocean ready really quickly, and by the way, I have your bookings ready today. I just got the list of booking numbers, so I will be sending those out to you. If you get Ocean ready at least 12 days prior to departure, then you can have your medallion shipped directly to your home. And again, this is something that we want you to not only experience, but we want you to document it. This is oftentimes your customer's first experience with Princess. So we really like the idea that they're getting this gift at home in the mail directly to their house. It comes packaged beautifully, and you'll be able to get Ocean ready and just walk directly on board the ship. The change that I was talking about with the dining program was where previously we had the complimentary dining and then we had specialty dining. That $14.99 fee that we have now instituted in our what we are now calling our casual dining venues, that's the Salty Dog Pub, O'Malley's, Kai Sushi's, or Alfredo's. Those are $14.99 per meal per person. If you have Princess Standard, for you guys, 2 of those are going to be included. So you would still have to pay if you were going to specialty dining, but those casual dining venues, and on this ship it is Alfredo's, you have 2 of those that are included. So you can go visit that at your leisure, and we do want you to do that. We want you to go in, and again, it's about really being able to articulate that value. I would highly recommend that you guys download this comparison chart. And I will have copies with me whenever we're on board, because some of the things that I want you guys to really pay attention to is what's included across various different brands. And that way it gives you the ability to really be able to speak to your customers about the inclusions and what they have. So with Princess Plus, you have the casual dining, you have fitness classes, and I absolutely want somebody to take video of a fitness class. You guys, somebody has to go, and I'm going to be going, so I'm going to check whether some of y'all are there or not. And then we'll go eat the premium desserts and have our room service delivery and all this other stuff. But first, we're going to be healthy, and we're going to go do fitness and go to the juice bar. If they took Princess Premier, these are what the inclusions are. Now, for me, I really think that the value is in the photo package. It also includes specialty dining, but that's me. Some of your customers want reserved seating in the theater. And if that's the piece that's really important to your customer, know that if you upgrade them to Princess Premier, that's how they're going to get reserved seating in the theater. So that's an important distinction to know. And we are part of Distinctive Voyages. So as you guys are really expanding what you're offering with Princess to your customers, we have Distinctive Voyages both to Japan and to Alaska. I have a QR code here for those customizable sales tools. We'll go through all of this whenever we are on board. But I wanted you to at least have the idea now, because I know this is a really big selling season, that we do participate in Distinctive Voyages in those two destinations. Now, I want to talk to you about, once you get your booking, what we need to do here. We have 3 different lanes that you can go in. If you are Princess Standard and you don't pay to have your medallion shipped to you, you are going to be in the blue lane. And what the blue lane means is, it means kind of you're going through your traditional check-in process. You're going to speak to customer service at the counter. If you are green lane, which all of you guys should be green lane because you're going to get your medallion at home and you filled everything out, you're going to walk right on board the ship. What you're going to do is you walk up to the ship with your medallion. They will scan it. You'll go through security. They'll verify that you have your documents, and then you literally walk right on board the ship. And so, again, that's the experience that we want you to be able to articulate and also document for your customers. And the things that you have to have, so you want to make sure that you have all of this ready. You'll need your personal information. You'll need your payment information. This is where you agree to the passage contract. You'll upload your travel documents. You'll also upload a security photo. Now, again, you have to do this at least 12 days prior to departure in order for you to be able to have the medallion shipped to you at home. And it can be shipped to the US and Puerto Rico currently, and coming very soon will be to Canada. So this is what the actual screenshots look like in the Princess Medallion app. And I'm going to save this as a PDF and send it out to all of you guys this afternoon so that you'll have these instructions in writing. But what you do is you download the Princess Medallion app to your smartphone, and then you go in and you just kind of go through this process. It's going to prompt you all the way through how to complete all of this. And again, if you're blue lane, that means that there's some sort of piece missing. But if you look over here on the far right-hand side, there's a checklist that will tell you what piece of it might be missing for you. That way you'll know at a glance what it is that you still need to do. You're now going to have an enhanced pass in the app. So if you sailed with us before and you have seen the old pass, the one that's over on the left-hand side, it was really cute because it was color-coded, which I really liked, but it didn't have where my cabin was. And that drove me crazy. So one of the new things that you'll see is, not only do you still have the QR code, it'll tell you what lane you're in, whether it's green or blue. And if you need an accessible, if you are going through the accessible lane, that's a 3rd lane there. So it will tell you which one you're in. It'll have the deck. It'll also have the cabin number. And you no longer have an arrival time. That means you can board anytime that you want to. To be perfectly honest with you guys, nobody was paying attention anyway. They were still showing up whenever they wanted to show up. So we just decided to do away with it. So there's a published check-in window that's going to be available to you in your travel summary, but you can just show up whenever you want to. I would recommend not going before noon, simply because oftentimes the ship doesn't clear until noon. If you show up at around noon or later, then you're going to be able to get directly on board the ship. If you don't want to use your smartphone or if you don't have a compatible device, you can do this on your PC. There is a web-based version of Ocean Ready, so you can go in and do that. And I'm going to go through some of these other steps with you, but you'll see a link right here on the check-in page where it gives you the direct link to go into the Ocean Ready web-based version. And there are instructions. If you forget or if you lose the PDF that I'm going to send over to you, you can go back to princess.com and there are Ocean Ready instructions right there on princess.com as well under booked guests. So booked guest, I kind of went by that kind of fast, but up here at the top where you see booked guest in red, that's where you're going to go when you get your booking number from me this afternoon. The important thing to remember is that payment is due by September 7th. If something happens and you don't get your payment made, could I get it reinstated? Probably, but it's going to take time and it'll create disruption in the process. So you want to make sure that you make your payment by September 7th, and you're going to make your payment individually.